Good evening and welcome to Gunner Shot. Uh, Today we're going to do a subject which is a little different. We're going to talk about a genocide which Bangladesh has forgotten. Why am I doing this topic? I normally talk of defense and international relations and all that because I've done a few, as we all know, done a lot of episodes on Bangladesh and got a lot of response. Some good, some bad, but some ugly also. And what is this ugly things which I got? Uh, what happened in 1971 is all fake. It never happened. There were no massacres. This is all propaganda. It's all Indian propaganda, media propaganda. The real massacres happened only now. Okay. Bangladesh, India was not required to come here. We would have handled Pakistan army on our own. India came, and invaded this area for its own purposes. Okay. This is kind of a narrative or feedback I'm getting. Uh, you know, we defeated uh, Pakistan. It is not India. What did India do? Nothing. Completely agree with you. Who are we to defeat Pakistan when Bangladesh is there? Right? India is exploiting Bangladesh. Why? I want to. Did we exploit them? Did we exploit them in 1971? Need to put it in picture, with the correct perspective. Hindus are not being targeted. It is all, the creation of Indian media. Well, I agree. Hindus are not being targeted. But Hindus were targeted in 1971 also. And this was, this came out in not in Indian news portals, outside news portals, American news portals, even in Pakistani news portals. Okay. So, it's all what we are doing is fake. So those, yeah, uh, and it's something very funny. The 1971 war was not part of. That was not when Bangladesh was liberated. The liberation is now. अभी तो liberate हुए हैं. वो तो 50 साल, 40, 54 years of history is gone. It doesn't exist. And it is revised, headed by this government, by a fake Nobel Prize winner. I call him a fake Nobel Prize winner because he is driving certain agendas, and those are the God's gospel now. And Pakistan has new friends. Sorry, Bangladesh has new friends. Pakistan, USA, China, who are their old enemies. And it has got a new enemy, India, which is its old friend. This is something which, again, I'm only summarizing what the Bangladeshis talk of. I see today Bangladeshis have not appeared. They'll not appear. I doubt. But, well, be as it may, let's go through and see. I hope some Bangladeshi sees it and, feels that, well, that I'll leave it to this thing. So let us see, what is this genocide all about? Okay. But before that, genocide and all that, what started this whole thing? No one, very few people know about this. The Bangladesh problem started with something else. Okay, and this is by the World Meteorological Organization. It started with the world's deadliest tropical cyclone over 50 years ago. It was called Tropical Cyclone Bhola. It killed more than 3 lakh people, and it happened on 12th, 13th November. That's what this slide says. People don't know it, and the story doesn't. Why am I taking this? Bangladesh is at a place where such cyclones can recur, and they will recur. I mean, super cyclones. We'll talk of that also. This is from Jammu. This is then a East Pakistani newspaper. The disaster that remade South Asia. Actual story starts here. Okay, what happened? In 1960 there was a cyclone in the North Indian Ocean, that's called the Bay of Bengal those days, or rather Bay of Bengal as it was called those days. It resulted in the death of 20,000 people in East Pakistan. 20,000 people died at that time. So, what did East Pakistan do or Pakistan do? Uh, they caught hold of a person called Mr. Hurricane, who from the National Hurricane Center in Florida, and he was brought to Pakistan to advise on what was to be done. He advised. He said, put small embankments, some thatched roofs, whatever. Pakistan did nothing, or East Pakistan did nothing. The government of the day did nothing. So in 1970, 12 November 1970, 1 year before we entered almost, uh, you know, then now Bangladesh and then East Pakistan. Cyclone Bhola smashed the coast of East Pakistan. And it is said if the government had followed Mr. Hurricane's most basic recommendation, more than 90% of the 5 lakh who perished in this disaster would not have died. Can you imagine 5 lakh people died in that cyclone? Why did they die? They died needlessly due to procrastination and downright neglect on the part of Pakistani government officials. Same people these chaps are becoming friendly with. Forget about okay. Certain things. The government and the military government, Yahya Khan was the dictator of the day. He knew there was a warning given, but the population was not informed. The state response to operate the cyclone Bola was absolutely woeful. And that was when people understood what, I'm not talking about Bangladeshis now, people, Bangladeshis who were there in 1970, or East Pakistanis, understood what was the status in Pakistan. And the status was of a second rate or a third rate citizen of Pakistan. And Ayaz Amir, who was a political commentator, said when a tidal wave of death and destruction swept over the eastern wing, the military government was slow to respond, paralyzed by what I can think of, can only think as a sense of remoteness. East Pakistan and its coastal people were just too far away from it. They didn't mind a damn. वे नया दोस्त है. Can you look at this? Yahya Khan came. He came in 12 November. The cyclone struck. 5 days later, he landed up there, and he was drunk when he was doing an aerial survey. Okay. Then all the East Pakistan leaders sent a telegram to West Pakistan about the indifference and all that. Nothing mattered. The general came drunk and he left drunk. because he had to go back to his General Rani, whoever that lady was with whom he was cavorting. And that was when the Bangladeshis of today, of that day, learned that their destiny was not with with Pakistan, and they started that movement. Unrest. What about the disaster relief? They were abysmal, and this is again from Pakistani sources. 12 days after the cyclone, around the last week of November 1970, now going back 54 years, published newspapers, photographs, and reports showed relief goods piled up at Lahore airport because all the relief came to Lahore, international relief. The military junta of the day, Yahya Khan, didn't send helicopters. There were only 3 helicopters for this entire country. Okay. The emergency relief fund which was released, no one knew what it was. In fact, they stopped India from sending relief. This is on record. India tried at the beginning. Pakistan said, no, we don't want. This is Yahya Khan when he came visited like a movie star. Right? See all Pakistanis absolutely trim and fit and absolute well clothed like movie stars. And that gave the rise, to feeling what happened in Pakistan or rather East Pakistan. And then these things started coming out. Between 1947 and 1970, East Pakistan received only 25% of the country's industrial investment and 30% of its imports. They were, despite producing 59% of the country's exports. The elites in West Pakistan saw their eastern countrymen as culturally and ethnically inferior. And an attempt to make Urdu their national language. That was being forced upon them. And when less than 10% of people in Bangladesh or in East Pakistan knew Urdu. And this is all from the Pakistani archives. West Pakistan behaved like a poorly raised, egoistic guest, devouring the best dishes and leaving nothing but scraps and leftover for East Pakistan. So now these chaps, are their best friends. Mr. Yunus and Shabazz Khan, Shabazz Sharif, they're trying to become friends. This is Mujibur Rahman. He shot into prominence after this in the year 70-71. And then, of course, when elections were held, he swept them. And this was the kind of crowds from in Bangladesh who responded and came in front of him. And there's an image from Dawn. Okay. Smithsonian comes out with this headline: the genocide US can't remember, but Bangladesh can't forget. Today, even Bangladesh has forgotten this genocide. They have conveniently forgotten. Amnesia. It's a collective amnesia of the people of Bangladesh. Such a great, wonderful thing. Bhool jao. It never happened. Living in denial. This is reproduced by Daily Star. Now, the Daily Star will not say anything. The same Daily Star today will not publish this again. And this story by Anthony Mascarenhas on genocide in Sunday Times, London, gave such a vivid, breakdown, or I won't say a description of how the genocide unfolded. One of the best. Someone should go and read it. Some experts I'll read in this. This is it. International Policy Digest. This doesn't exist also today. Will Pakistan apologize for Bangladesh for its war crimes? They've never done so. It has never done so in 54 years. Today, people come up with comments to say India should apologize for whatever we have done to Bangladesh. Can you imagine? Can anyone imagine that? Okay. And their best friends, Kissinger and Nixon, how they aided genocide in Bangladesh. The Chronicle of Higher Education. This is a US newspaper. The same guys, Peter Haas, who was their ambassador, left Bangladesh after this monsoon revolution or the so-called revolution and comes back to sell them gas. And he's the guy, like what Trump is now saying. All those people who have government servants but now are in business, they're going to be, whatever he's going to do. One of the enactments he's done. They're his best friends. They're guys, some who of that time, who are still tweeting out to support this revolution. I have no problem if you had a revolution. That's completely Bangladesh internal problem, or how they would want to do. But I must show a mirror to what happened to your country from where this country has come to where it is. Yeah, this is a forgotten genocide. University of Alabama and Birmingham. These are accounts of theirs. So what happened? Why? The three main reasons why this whole story happened. The genocide of 1971 was a result of exploitation and oppression in East Pakistan by West Pakistan, not by India. But today, people say whatever happened in Bangladesh is because of India. We didn't, we dealt with Sheikh Hasina. That's it. We dealt with Begum Khalida Zia. We are now still dealing with Yunus, though he's illegal. The interim government from my side is illegal. And now that is coming out in many YouTubes and all that. The second part is important. The Pakistani army committed mass killings, sexual violence, and targeted the Hindu community as part of their extermination campaign. Then, at that time when this was highlighted, the Pakistan army said, no, this is all fake propaganda. What's happening today? The Indian media is fake because these Hindu killings and all are going on. So, the point, what I'm trying to get at in this is that is it the same lot of people who supported the then Pakistan army? They're called Razakars, who are now running this country, who have done this political push. This is a political coup which has taken place. It's not a revolution. Let's be very clear. And then there was mass destruction of infrastructure and cultural heritage. It's happening now again. At that time, it was by Pakistan army and its supporters. The same kind of a thinking. International initiatives have been pursued to ensure justice, healing, recognition and remembrance for victims of this genocide. But within this country, the country has forgotten. Internationally, you and I might remember it. And then one thing led to the other. In March, there was a time when some Biharis were killed by Bengalis. So as in guys, in as part of that, 60 to 80,000 West Pakistani soldiers were brought in. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was arrested, and Operation Searchlight started. And Operation Searchlight is internationally recognized as the massacre of Bengali civilians by Pakistani soldiers. So these are figures which are there. I don't have to, When did it start? It started on March 25th, 1971. Army had a pre-made list of targets, including Bengali nationalists, intellectuals, Hindus, and then it led to massacres in Dhaka and other parts of Bangladesh. The destruction and violence caused by Pakistan military was widespread and devastating. This is the truth. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed and million more were displaced. The international community largely ignored the atrocities. No one helped Bangladesh. No one helped Bangladesh. And they ignored the atrocities till December 1971, when Bangladesh declared independence. And Bangladesh couldn't have declared independence on its own. Where did all this start? In Dhaka. The military crackdown on East Pakistan sought to suppress Bengali calls for self-determination and resulted in massacres in Dhaka. Is there a similarity between what happened then and now? Why are massacres happening now? This call for self-determination is only by one section, by suppressing others. Everyone is not allowed to vote there today. Today they say, okay, one party is not there. I couldn't care a damn whether Abami wins, Bangladesh National Party wins, or a Jihadi party wins, or any other party wins. But how is the current state is that only some people can participate in elections. Everyone has no choice but to this thing. Others are all banned. How are they banned by? By God's degree. Because a few chaps say that's no democracy. Exactly what Pakistan army did and Yahya Khan did, today the people in power in Bangladesh are trying to do to the rest of the people. Complete power capture. The violence of the Bangladesh genocide was widespread and devastating. Estimated death toll was anything between 3 lakh to 30 lakh people. So far, no one has known. No official figures are there. And the Pakistani military also committed mass rapes of Bengali women. They've forgotten. Today, the Pakistanis are their best friends. It's not as if people didn't know. The CIA knew it. After about 3-4 months, they knew that their estimate was 2 lakh Bangladeshis were murdered. Okay. But Pakistani soldiers were given US weapons to do what they had to do. Because Pakistan was an American ally. In May 1971, 1.5 million, 15 lakh people, refugees, sought asylum in India. By November 1971, that number had risen to 10 million. India hosted 10 million people. We didn't exploit them. We gave them food free of cost because I remember still I was a young student. We were told that no one was giving aid for this. And we were not a rich country then, we were a poor country. We shared everything with Bangladesh. There was an Australian doctor who was brought by United Nations to assist the late term abortions of raped women. Because it had been 9 months. They were in various stages of pregnancy. And as per his estimate, it could be anything between 2 lakhs to 4 lakh people. And that figure also was considered low. This is a horror which actually happened. So there are there are. I think this is from one of the British, uh, narrations. He says, "I've seen whole villages devastated by punitive action." So punitive action was done then by Pakistani soldiers. Today it's being done by Bangladeshis, jihadists against their own people. Right? Why did they do it? All for the preservation of unity, integrity, and ideology of Pakistan. So you substitute today what is happening there is for the preservation of the unity, integrity, and the ideology of Bangladesh. Ideology, because it has now come in. And East Pakistan can be kept in Pakistan by the heavy hand of the army. So today it is Bangladesh can only be retained by the heavy hand of jihadists or radicalism. So these are the realities of what happened in Bangladesh then. I don't know how many people will see it, but I hope so. And I'm very sure Bangladesh won't see it. The war between East and West Pakistan lasted only 9 months, but atrocities were covering an estimated 3 million people dead, 4 lakh women raped, 6 lakh children killed, and scores of targeted individuals slaughtered in an attempt to cripple Pakistan's social and cultural backbone. Is something like that happening now at a smaller scale? People are targeting in the name of corruption. There might be corruption, but people are targeting specific groups. Bengalis were often compared with monkeys and chickens. It was a statement made by West Pakistani General Niazi about when he was asked how did he view people of East Pakistan. And Pakistan has not had to apologize for its war crimes so far. But Yunus goes and shakes hands with Shahbaz Sharif, and they want ammunition from there and long range missiles from there, and they want ships to come from Pakistan and become their best friends and start trade. What do you trade? So, this is the new Bangladesh, which is going back to its Pakistani roots. And then there were the refugee camps. And this is by life in refugee camps. I would suggest Bangladeshis read this by BangladeshNews24.com. This is not mine. This is from Bangladesh, this story. A 91 story of war, loss, and survival. Incidentally, this picture is by Raghu Rai. Who was Raghu Rai? Raghu Rai was one of the most famous photographers of that time. I'll come to that a little later. This is it. This is Raghu Rai Foundation. Go to this link. Okay. Go to this link and have a look. And he's covered so many things. He's covered Kashmir, he's covered so many things. Indira Gandhi, he's covered everything. This is what you see here. is about Bangladesh. You see this picture? It's so haunting. So now I'll show you pictures. So you have to go here and see this. Okay. See this picture, how people were fleeing from Bangladesh across those rivers, which luckily at that point of time in December were not in spate, but they were. But in March, April, May, June, they were in spate. Yet people had no choice but to go. They crossed through gushing rivers and went across. And then, of course, this is from Raghurai's one of Raghurai's photo. In search of shelter, 1971. That's the caption. People in search of shelter. I would suggest you expand it and see. See their faces, see their expression, see the clarity of that picture. Right? Yeah, this is how people were standing in line for food or whatever. And see them going through difficult areas, how they were trekking with what they had. This is how they were taken with all whatever they could go with. And see this, the stories of horror and brutality of 1971 captured so well by Raghurai. Raghurai is no more. I saw him once long back in 76, 77 when he came to Binaguri. He was at that time or GOC's, the GOC of that time, उसका बड़ा भाई था. And this young or middle-aged rape was a common occurrence in 1971. And this is how people survived. Bangladeshis forgot. This is how they went. And in this, it so rightly says, only few had the luxury of arriving in a bullock cart in 1971. This bullock cart was also a luxury those days. People just walked. And this side of, in the Indian side, we made arrangements to take them by bus. Buses for the refugees, that's the caption, were available only onto the Indian territories, 1971. And this was a refugee camp. Food and shelter for millions had to be looked into in a massive scale each day. And just think, 10 million refugees over a period of 9 months. We looked after them. These are all pictures of that time, refugee camps. We shared with Bangladeshis whatever we could. Again, refugee camp. Not the best by any set of conditions, but that was all India could afford. And we shared it with Bangladesh. And this is the number of people. Then have a look. West Bengal, Tripura, Meghalaya, ye, wo, sub. 825 camps were there. In Bengal alone, West Bengal alone, there were 492 camps. Okay. And it is not only, see the third column, refugees with host families. People this side welcomed Bangladeshis into their homes. And there were how many? 31 lakhs were kept in homes, Indian homes. And it is not as if we didn't get friendship from Mukti Fauj. Of course they helped us. This is Mukti Bahini. And I still say without Mukti Bahini, I don't think we could have defeated West Pakistan. In fact, the bigger victory was of the people of Bangladesh and Mukti Bahini. We only helped them get their independence or liberation. You can't take that away from what they did. Look at this young Mukti Bahini people of 1971 rejoicing, and Indian Army marching towards Kulna when refugees were coming the other side. I'm very proud of my army, what we did for Bangladesh. And I'm very proud of the fact we went in when we had to go in, and we came out before we were told to come out, or rather, we were told to get out. We came out on our own. And we also looked after Pakistani soldiers. This is a wounded Pakistani soldier. He was being given first aid. Just see the fear in his eyes, captured so nicely by Raghurai. Okay, you've seen that famous picture. This is another picture of the surrender ceremony from a different angle. And this General Aurora and Niazi, and on the right, General JFR Jacob. Sidney Scanberg was a famous wartime reporter. Okay, and this again is from Dhaka Tribune. A story came up with his thing with Sheikh Mujibur. And he was considered at that point of time. I don't know whether people in Bangladesh even remember it or not. He was considered almost a national hero in Bangladesh. And this is what he wrote in 1971. I must read it out. This is what Indian Army did. The Indian Army was something. There was never a black mark. I lived with the officers and I rode with the Jawans, and they were all great. Sure, some of them were scared at first. They couldn't be human if they weren't. But I never saw a man flinch because he was scared. There is a tremendous grit in the spirit in the Indian Army, and it did one good to experience it. And they were the most perfect gentlemen. I never have seen them do a wrong thing, not even when they just saw how bestial the enemy had been. I'm so proud of the Indian Army then, and I'm proud of the Indian Army now. This is what we gave to Bangladesh with open arms and open hearts. Today we are here, you call us our enemy. You call us your enemy because your good friends are Pakistan, who did what they did, USA, who never came to your aid, and China, who attempted to come. China was told by Pakistan and USA, come from the north, because we blocked them. That's the least known fact, that we blocked them, and of course winter they couldn't come and they didn't help you. Today they are your best friends. And of course, you see, almost as if, I don't know which part of Dhaka this is. I'm sure those who know Dhaka will recognize this. See the multitude of people. And this was during his election campaign in 1970. The same Mujibur Rahman who was put in jail and was released only when after 1972. And he was who brought independence virtually, or liberation for Bangladesh. This is what has happened to him. The legacy wiped out. This is what Bangladesh has done to itself. It's a pity. And this is a picture of what Baluch people put out. The world needs to speak. I'll put it this way. Forget world needing to speak. I think the Bangladeshis need to remember what they are all about. I I have not shown this. I'm not gone about this to, you know, it's up to Bangladesh what it wants to do, whom it wants to elect, which government it wants, what it wants, all that. Oh, I've done this today only to uh, show a picture. हिंदी में जो बोलते हैं ना, आईना दिखाना है आप लोगों को कि देखो ये था और आप कहाँ हैं। आपके और उन दिनों के वेस्ट पाकिस्तान आर्मी के बीच ज्यादा फासला नहीं है जो आज आप बांग्लादेश चला रहे हो, जिस तरीके से आप चला रहे हो। In that time, it was at least someone outside Bangladesh who was doing it to all of you. Today, some of you are doing it to your own people. And under the pretext that this is what the national sentiment is, I don't know if this is the national sentiment. And if this is the national sentiment, then we'll have to rethink. Anyway, this is what the truth is. This is a truth which has come out from Bangladesh papers, it has come out from Pakistani papers, and it has come out from international papers. That's why I've not shown one Indian newspaper. I have this strange habit. If you've seen Ghana Shot, I don't quote Indian news. Okay, I quote news from the other side of the fence. So let me take some of your questions, some of your whatever you had to say, and we'll see where it goes. And I think India has come to a stage where it has to deal with Bangladesh in a different manner, right? I have no doubt about it. We have to now see how to deal with Bangladesh, not as a friend. It's no more our friend the way we thought it was. It's a country, it's a neighbor, it's our neighbor we can't ignore. We'll deal with it the way we have to. Right? And we're going to discuss this. And that discussion will be on 3rd February, we'll discuss it. Till then, let me take some questions. Jai Hind, sir. A fan of your channel. Good evening. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Rajesh. So heartwarming. Yeah, Partha Basu. Those who forget history are destined to repeat it. I completely agree with you. They have forgotten their history and they're en route to repeat it. There'll come a stage where there will be a counter revolution. It's not going to go away. It's going to happen, and a lot of people, yeah, like and share. Diana, yeah, thanks a lot for reminding everyone. Those of you who like this video, do like and share this. And I would like people to subscribe to this channel. I've taken time out from the normal. A lot of things are happening in the world. Ukraine mein ho raha hai ladai, and Gaza, something is happening. China is yapping. Trump is, kalbali macha raha hai, but yet I've chosen Bangladesh because I think for India, Bangladesh is our most important neighbor. That is why I took this. And I've taken a different route today. I'd request you if you could subscribe to Ghana Shot. Those of you are seeing. I also understand that a lot of people in P Gurus are watching this. That's because P Gurus is my alter ego channel. Whatever I put out on my channel goes to P Gurus, which they want to pick. And we do this thing for all of you who are watching, whether you're in Ghana Shot or in P Gurus, do subscribe both to P Gurus and Ghana Shot. Okay. Yeah. Should we call them East Pakistan? Will they feel better now that they found their Kumbh Mela, my lost brothers? So well, I leave it to them. Okay. Yeah, a Muslim is a Muslim. How can we the kafir expect a Muslim to give credit to us for their liberation? Therefore, 1971 never happened, and it's convenient to deny Hindu genocide. I think Something like that is right because they're now also denying that it ever happened. That's the strange part. People have forgotten their own thing. Okay, so he says, in Telugu he says, Misal Tippandi means, twirl your mustache. That's what I've done. Thanks. Yeah. From 1965 to 70, Bangladesh was pillaged to fill Pakistan's coffers. The money to make those embankments went straight to Islamabad. Yeah, I agree with you completely. It was just looted. Like Pakistan is looting its own people. And now Bangladesh leaders who are there are doing the same thing for themselves after having broken everything. In India, in 1971, India does not celebrate defeat of Pakistan but stopping of deeds against humanity. If Bangladesh wants to forget, so we should concentrate on our national interests. I agree with you. That's what I said. We have to concentrate on that. The relief did reach Bangladesh from India, but it was smuggled, and even the Razakas controlled most of it. They had to make good their losses in the cyclone. Must be right, but I don't. Yeah, some relief would have gone. See, again, not many people. Right. Give us a fair share of Tista, treat Muslim minority fairly, stop influencing our politics, stop sending Modi as Adanis. See, you are living in denial. We are not interested. Why are you bothered how we treat our Muslims? Firstly, our Muslims are well treated. Don't worry. Okay, we'll treat you also. We've treated you also well. If didn't want to treat you well, we could have done that in 71. We need not have got out of your country at all. And we are not interested in your politics. You do what you want. I see this hate coming through. That's why I said your newfound friends are Pakistanis. Go back, they'll rape you again. Yeah, Pakistani blood is flowing. Well, we'll give them. Yeah, Pakistani authorities still think the language movement was an Indian creation, but it was merely a symbol of popular opposition against. Yeah, I agree with you. You first fence your side of the border and stop sending illegal. Yeah, I agree. Mm. Okay, it is laughable, but the cultural and ethnic superiority of West Pakistan over East Pakistan was skin deep. Basically, fair versus dark complexion. This complexity remains in vogue today. Even today, I think so. And this I've heard from West Pakistanis or Pakistanis who say, "Oh, kale, duble patle, Marial se, kale se Bengali." That's the way they're described even today. You go to the Pakistani channel, you'll hear this. You have no idea of the geopolitics in play. Bangladeshis are being used to shift the epicenter of Takfiri and Takiye towards east. You're being used as Western puppets. I agree. Yeah, stop reminding our past suffering. It is already in our heart, but we won't let India in play with it. We are not played with it. Your suffering, you should know, understand. You've forgotten all that. It's not in your heart. It's not anywhere. If it knows, I've shown you, it's good. Okay, this is interesting. As a foreigner who have visited and have friends in Bangladesh, one thing I have observed that they're very impatient and unpatriotic people as they think of themselves and their family. This is damning coming from someone else who's been to your country, that you're not even patriotic. So that's what I keep saying. We are not interfering in your country. We'll let you do what you want. It's very funny. People say interfere in your politics. In India, Mr. Modi can't win an election in Tamil Nadu or in Kerala or in Bengal. Okay? And Bengal borders Bangladesh. How can it interfere? How can we interfere in what you think when we can't interfere in our own elections? In Manipur, you have a very funny system where the government is BJP and the MPs are from Congress. People vote differently for center and vote differently for state. You guys have to understand, we cannot influence your elections. Please, all the while, Bangladesh feels we have influenced their elections. We have not, because this is not our tradition. You elect whom you want. We will deal with them the way we want, to our interests hereafter. Till now, we were dealing with your interests. No, we will not. We'll do it with our interests. As simple as that. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Srihari Raju. Once more, you gifted 50 Ganashot memberships. So kind of you. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, given the present regional geopolitics at play, West Pakistan find itself in a position to retake East Pakistan and continue doing with Bangladeshi Muslims what it left off in 1971. I don't know what the thing is in play, but if this newfound friendship between Shahbaz Sharif and Yunus, and with China also in the mix, I mean, like I said, Bangladesh can do what it wants with itself. But I think India has to take note of it, and we should act to our best interests. Like, what is our best interest and how we have to deal with Bangladesh is something which we'll discuss. We have time. Yeah. He says, we don't want anything from you, just fence your site to stop illegal. We don't want to be a dumping yard of your country. I agree with you. Yeah. Best interest does not mean to hurt neighbors' national security. Forget the fact whether it's grown up or not. You hurt our national security, we'll hurt yours. As simple as that. If Bangladesh doesn't wake up after this presentation, then their conscience has gone dead. I don't know, Gurmohan, whether they have one or not. That's the, I let me try. This is my earnest attempt at showing them what they went through. Because the narratives which are coming out were horrible. And I felt, I quickly put these photographs and showed it. Yeah. Qatar and UAE are interested in buying Chittagong port. Do you know why? I will tell you. If Bangladesh develops its gas field, it will not have a port to export that gas. Yeah, that's the thing. Okay. Yeah, is India secular? Completely. There's no have no doubt about it. India is fully secular. It's there in our constitution. So don't think, right? Don't think anything else. I'm glad that at least you come and you are facing. Others have not even come. Others have not even come. Send it to all your friends, Asgar, and show them that I'm glad that you are brave enough to come and talk. देखो सब भाग गए, एक ही तुम रह चुके हो मैदान में और लड़ रहे हो. आई सैल्यूट यू फॉर दैट. बट बाकी बांग्लादेशी कहाँ हैं? They don't want to see this. They are living in denial. You forget more than 2 lakh local Bengalis and Biharis were fighting with Pakistan as Razakars in 1971. Much of the atrocities were perpetuated by these Razakars. Yes, that is the same lot who are now part of this Jamaat and part of this radical movement. And if you think ISI has not had a hand through all these people, then we are living in a fool's world. That's very clear now. After 71, many of these crypto Pakistanis hid their true feelings and were conspiring with Pakistanis right after 1971 for return of Bangladesh back to, yeah. Okay. Do they deserve any sympathy from India? They proved their thankless behavior during partition and then in 1970. Oh, well, Let's put it this way: we'll gave them their liberation, we assisted them in their liberation. I still maintain, but for the will of the Bangladeshi people, they wouldn't have got liberation. We only helped them, right? We helped them stabilize themselves and we let them go. And after that, we never interfered with them. Whether you see, now we are cribbing that Mujibur Rahman statue has come brought down and all that. They killed him also. Then the killers of Mujibur Rahman were also killed by these people. They have mutinies, they kill each other. It's a recurring occurrence. So they have no love loss for themselves. So why will they have love loss for you? Let's be very clear. So we should not expect any thanks from Bangladesh. So what do we do? That's why I said we deal with them in our national interest. What is that? We'll define. Third, come back on third. We'll have a panel talking about this. On your logic, Japan should break all ties. We are not saying so. We are not saying so at all. There's a difference between Japan, what happened in Japan and USA. There were no rapes. Okay, there were no murders. It was just that. And USA rebuilt Japan. USA rebuilt Japan, invested and rebuilt Japan, and made it an ally. You think Pakistan will do that? Do you think Pakistan has the capability to do it? You couldn't have good ties with India, who helped you. How can you have good ties with Pakistan, who have raped you? Yeah. Yeah, there's something important. Pakistani army didn't surrender to Mukti Bahini, but Indian army. Yeah, I think that's an important point. You couldn't have enforced what you could have got everything without Indian army. Let's be very clear. People are too young, so you don't even know what happened. I lived through that. I understand that. Yeah, Jai Bharat Sumit. And Lata Sundar says, Sydney's court brought tears of pride to my eyes. Yeah, we are a very proud army, very proud nation. Many people don't understand it. These days, a lot of Chinese are coming and commenting, on what we talk. But third-rate communist fools, do they know anything? They don't. They don't understand. They are talking of all communist brainwashed ideas. That's about all. Yeah, Bangladesh didn't forget overnight. How did we miss the ticking bomb of hatred? This is a thing which we need to introspect. We'll have to see how this happened. Let's see. We all learn. This is part of our learning as a nation, right? Your country is slowly being captured by forces of darkness. The complete destruction of your education system is definitive proof of that. I completely agree with Pugleski. I'm not sure what he's written in Bengali, but I think Bangladeshis have to wake up. Couple of Bangladeshis have come in the end. They'll not comment today. They will also not come up. They will not even see. I'm very sure. Otherwise, if I speak something about Bangladesh, everyone will see in Bangladesh. It will become viral, all these videos. They'll not see this. I'm very sure they'll not see. But my request to all of us as Indians, have a look at it, because there's something we have to be immensely proud of. At least we know the reality. You can quote next time in any video or any comment. Please go and see this video. Keep this link with you. Right? Fine. I'll finish off here. Thanks a lot for those of you who had come in. I also thank Asgar especially because he's done a one-man show stood for Bangladesh. Remember, It's not too late to become resume a friendship. I have no problem if Jamaat wins or BNP wins or Hasina wins or Awami League wins. If the people of Bangladesh very clearly say we want this, so be it. But it should be fair. If it is not fair, it's not correct. That's that's kind of a dictatorship. That we will respond. Even then, we'll deal with whoever is there. Aren't we dealing with the illegal government now? This interim government is an illegal government. It's gone past its legality. But we're still dealing with it. Doesn't mean we respect it. We'll deal with it, we'll not respect it. So if you want respect from India, you have to be legal first. And we'll see how it goes. Because more than that, we are going to deal with you to the best of our interests and not your interests anymore. I thought till a couple of months back, we were still ready to deal with your interests more than keeping it above our interests. I think that's changed. Let's look ahead. Thank you. Good evening. And before I close, if you like this video, press this thumbs up button, share and subscribe to Gunner Shot. Thank you. Good evening and Jai Hind.